Checking for sound, 1, 2, 3. Checking for sound, 1, 2, 3. Hello, can anybody hear me?
Good morning. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much. Is my video working there?
Yes, it is.
Okay, I just don't even see myself here. I just see a blank something.
Recording in progress.
Good morning, honorable members, and good morning to the parliamentary staff, the media and the gallery, if we have. You are all welcome. We are today going to be dealing with the deliberations and considerations of the budget report, as well as eventually adopting. We're also going to deliberate and consider and eventually adopt the oversight report to Alexkor in the Northern Cape. And that will be the end of the meeting. We don't expect it to be a very long meeting. I hope everybody is warm, those that are in Cape Town, because it's very cold. Can we have apologies, Mashudu or Sivu?
Morning, Chair. Lady Chair will take us through the apologies. Thanks.
Good morning, Chairperson, all the members and staff. The apology I received was from Honorable Zondi. He will be joining a bit later. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. That is noted. Can we move to let's start with the budget report. Who is taking us through Sivu Mashudu?
I'll take you through, Chair. Thanks.
Please do. Honorable members, can I make a suggestion or check with you? Because I'm assuming that honorable members interacted with the report themselves. We go to, we don't go line by line. Mr. Maboda just summarizes, but where he passes and you have made a note in your reading, you come back and then we'll deal with the corrections. Is that, and we focus more on the observations and recommendations. Is that okay with you, honorable members? Ms. Hassan?
Yes, Chair, that's in order. Thank you.
Are we all agreeing? Is there a dissenting view?
We agree, Chair.
Okay. Mr. Maboda, can you proceed? Thank you, honorable members.
All right. Good morning, Chairperson. Good morning, honorable members and everyone present. As per your advice, Chair, the body of the report is essentially what was presented to the members and analyzed by the staff. And what is key for the committee, as you correctly pointed it out, Chair, is the observations and the recommendations. So I'll just go straight to the to the observations. I will read them word for word because it's important for members to input on that, especially the recommendations. So I'll just read the observations and then to the recommendations. Thanks, Chair. Mashoto, can you please go to the observations? Okay, observations are from page 11 to 13 of the report that is before you, honorable members. I'll be starting with 5.1, which is the department. The opening line first, Mashoto, just above 5.1. The Portfolio Committee observed the following in relation to the annual performance plans and allocated budget of the Department of Mineral and Petroleum Resources and entities reporting to it. 5.1 would be observations in respect of the department. The committee recognizes and appreciates that this marks the department's first reporting cycle. This represents a promising opportunity to enhance the focus of on both the mineral and petroleum resources. The committee welcome the chance to capitalize on this renewed emphasis in ways that have not been fully explored before. This basically refers to the fact that previously energy and minerals were combined, and one suffered during that period. The focus was more on energy than mining. So now that the department is focusing on minerals and petroleum, then mining would get the support or the attention that it deserves. The next one is overlaps on mandate of the two departments as they've separated. The committee raised concerns regarding the potential overlaps between the Department of Mineral and Petroleum Resources and the Department of Electricity and Energy, specifically related to gas. However, the minister during the meeting gave assurance that the legislative provisions allow for the establishment of the memorandum of agreement to address these overlaps. However, the committee still remained concerned about the overlaps. I guess there's a need then for the committee to get some clarity in terms of the potential overlaps, perhaps in writing or in a presentation form. And then the next one is the vacancy rate. The committee acknowledges that the current vacancy rate of 2.4%, indicating 28 unfilled positions within the department's approved organizational structure. The committee further appreciates the department's commitment to filling these positions before they are frozen. Then there's a breakdown of these vacancies. 8 were in mine health and safety, 5 in mineral and petroleum regulation branch, 7 in the ministry. 8 in the ministry branch. So that is just the breakdown of the vacancies. And then the next one is fuel adulteration and fuel quality. The committee expressed ongoing concern regarding the fuel adulteration. Implementing mobile fuel testing kits to test fuel quality at service station would be beneficial. This approach, successfully utilized by the South African Revenue Service, facilitates immediate enforcement upon detection of non-compliance. So this was just a suggestion or an observation from the members regarding fuel adulteration and what could be done around that. And then the refining capacity, the committee commended the department's commitment to having 2 additional refineries operational in the country by 2030, including PetroSA and SANPC refinery. And then the committee acknowledges and appreciates the department's commitment to completing this crucial plan within the current financial plan. Within the current financial year. And then sealing of abandoned mining shaft over the next 5 years. The committee plans to seal 200 abandoned mines, shafts, and rehabilitate around 50 sites, all within the current budget. However, these goals could be enhanced with the allocation of additional funds. And then the next one is the implementation of the cadastral system. The committee acknowledges the department's confirmation that the Western Cape and Eastern Cape will be the initial regions to implement the system, commencing at the end of June 2025, as was confirmed by the department during its briefings. We just have to follow up as to whether the end of June this does happen indeed. And then the issue of the NGOs and the courts, there is a pressing concern regarding the legal actions frequently initiated by the NGOs against the department, particularly in the upstream petroleum sector. It is unsustainable for the country to persist in a cycle of debate over the obstructive role of foreign-funded NGOs without implementing a clear, decisive measures to address this issue. A proactive strategy is essential to ensure that development is not perpetually impeded. The next one is the revitalization of smelters. A crucial factor in revitalization smelters is the establishment of an effective incentive package. This package should encompass not only energy cost, but also various economic tools designed to encourage investment and increase in production. The committee appreciates the confirmation from the department regarding its collaboration with institutions like the IDC to pinpoint viable options. Ongoing interdepartmental cooperation is essential to finalize a comprehensive incentive framework for the revitalization of the smelters. And then we move to observations on entities. And then MinTech. The committee appreciates MinTech's ongoing support for the development of artisanal and small-scale miners through training, while recognizing the challenges posed by funding constraints. The upscaling of pilot projects, MinTech sentiments that a key element for success in upscaling projects lies in building partnerships with the private sector are welcomed. Although a pilot project can be executed independently, scaling it necessitates the engagement of investors. It is essential to prioritize the promotion of the technology and establish small partnerships to facilitate its growth. So this is just challenges around upscaling of these technologies. An issue that was also raised during the CSIR meeting, where they have these technologies, but it's difficult for them to upscale the technologies, similarly to CGS. And then another issue is on the extracting of rare earth elements. The committee notes that MinTech submitted a proposal to the National Treasury for a national program aimed at extracting rare earth elements from discarded coal residues, particularly fly ash, totaling millions of tons. Although the proposals did not receive funding, it garnered support from the department. This initiative holds significant potential to benefit small-scale miners, artisanal miners, local communities, as much of the waste is situated within these areas. Additionally, countries like the United States of America and India are pursuing similar opportunities. MinTech has completed preliminary mapping and characterization of the dams to identify extractable materials and confirmed that it will continue its scientific and technical efforts in this regard. Then we move to State Diamond Trader. Observations around there. There was an issue around, or an observation around lab-grown diamonds. Lab-grown diamonds now hold a 10% market share, prompting a focus on how natural diamond marketers can coexist with lab-grown producers. In response, the State Diamond Trader initiated the Diamond Show to enhance awareness of the value and uniqueness of the natural diamonds compared to lab-grown alternatives. Ongoing engagement with industry stakeholders is essential to promote natural diamonds and mitigate further market share loss. Research indicates that millennium consumers often do not differentiate between natural grown diamonds, viewing them collectively as diamonds. This underscores the urgent need for improved consumer education regarding the intrinsic value of the natural diamonds. And then we move to the South African Diamond and Precious Metals Regulator. The committee notes with concern the ongoing financial pressure on the South African National Diamond Metals Regulator due to a continuous decline in production within the diamond and precious metals sector, which has persisted over 3 years. The committee acknowledges that the Diamonds Act, amended in 2007, has been in effect for nearly 2 decades. Throughout its implementation, the regulator has faced numerous challenges, largely because many practical elements were embedded directly in the Act instead of being outlined in regulations. This structure has rendered the Act cumbersome to amend, as even minor modifications necessitated lengthy legislative processes that can span over years. Mine Health and Safety Council. The committee welcomes the improvements in mining safety. The year 2020 marked a historic achievement as the safest year on record in the mining industry, a remarkable improvement compared to previous years. In the past, the sector faced. Sorry. Okay. In the past, the sector faced up to 1,200 fatalities annually, averaging 3 deaths and 90 injuries each day. Monthly mining disasters were once a regular occurrence. However, today these incidents have significantly decreased underground, although road-related accidents have become more prevalent. The committee also commends the increase in the number of women in the mining industry, with employment increasing from 11,000 in 2002 to 76,000 today. The committee notes with concern the fatalities reported at Harmony Gold in the first quarter of this year. The number of reported deaths appears to be rising, highlighting an urgent need for intervention. This slightly contradicts with point 1, where there is a praise for the improvement in safety in the mining industry, but that does not take the improvement away. But this is just highlighting that there is a concern, even though there is improvement in terms of deaths in mining safety. And then changes, particularly at the executive level, have shown to affect health and safety outcomes both positively and negatively, as managerial position can influence safety compliance. Furthermore, there is significant trend indicating that when gold prices are high and the economy is favorable, certain mines tend to take on greater operational risk. So it's not justification that, I think it's a point that was also raised by the minister, this one, that the issue at Harmony Gold is, he correlated the matter with the change in management, and the committee was not pleased with that response. Because there can't be an expectation that when there is change in management, then we must expect that there would be fatalities in mines. But the point was that it's a reality generally that when changes happen, these things do happen in the mining industry as well. Then we move to Alexkor. The committee welcomes the appointment of new Alexkor board members, recognizing the challenges that they will face in this role, knowing the complexities around Alexkor. The joint venture governance structure at Alexkor, which mandates unanimous decision-making, has proven impractical. A more structured operational model is essential for effective management. The delays in transferring the Alexkor Bay Township to the Richtersveld local municipality, as stipulated in the deeds of settlement, are contributing to the challenges that Alexkor is currently facing. Then we move to Central Energy Fund Group. The Central Energy Fund Group is currently experiencing significant changes in its environment, structure, and composition. This relates to the merger that is currently happening and the challenges around the merger. The next point is the committee is concerned that the delay in the South African National Petroleum Company Bill is excessive and adversely impacts the prompt establishment and efficient operation of the South African National Petroleum Company. As members would recall, there is back and forth about this bill, where it is currently with this chief state law advisor. It was sent to Parliament just for information, not for processing. Just for information, it was sent, I think, around August last year. But to date, the bill has not yet come back to Parliament for processing by the committee. This is a serious challenge, especially for the new company that is being established. A way needs to be found in terms of fast-tracking this bill. And then the next point is the committee recognizes the governance challenges within the SAFE group, particularly the unfilled executive positions that have led to individuals temporarily assuming those roles. So there is lots of acting positions, as members know, within the SAFE group, and that is a challenge given the situation that the group finds itself today, particularly Petro SA issues. And then the next point is Petro SA remains a challenging entity within the group, facing numerous allegations of poor governance and corruption. Then the PASA's report indicates that the department's progress on the shale gas project in the Cairo is impeded by the moratorium on shale gas, which must be lifted by the Department of Forestry, Fisheries and Environment. Given the anticipated gas shortfall by 2027, 2028, the committee is of the view that this is essential to resolve. Okay, the committee is of the view that it is essential to resolve this issue urgently. Then we go to CGS, Council for Geoscience. The committee recognizes and values the commendable efforts of CGS in tackling water and infrastructure challenges in the country alongside its other responsibilities. The committee recognizes that CGS has significant potential to enhance its efforts in addressing dolomite issues and flood disasters, which would greatly benefit the country and the municipalities. However, the committee also acknowledges the constraints faced by CGS due to funding limitations from Vote 34. Consequently, it is imperative to expand the resources available to CGS. I think the point is around CGS having to do other work, like in dolomites and infrastructure issues, and having many capabilities to do these things. However, they report to Vote 34, so there's limitations in terms of money in doing these other things. So there's a need for the mandate of CGS to be looked at in terms of being able to address these other issues that it has capabilities on. And then the last point is the committee recognizes that funding for the carbon capture and storage project is nearing its conclusion. It is essential to complete this vital initiative, as it plays a significant role in facilitating a just energy transition for the country. That's the end of the observations. For you, Chair, I'll read the recommendations. Okay, I'll read the recommendations. And having considered the planning documents and budget allocations for the 2025-2026 financial year of the Department of Mineral and Petroleum Resources, the Portfolio Committee on Mineral and Petroleum Resources recommends that the House request the Minister of Mineral and Petroleum Resources to 1, collaborate with the Minister of Trade, Industry and Competition to present a comprehensive plan to the revitalization of the country's smelters. 2, engage urgently with the Minister of Forestry, Fisheries and Environment regarding the shale gas moratorium and provide a joint update to the committee by the 4th quarter of the 2025-2026 financial year. Implement mobile fuel testing kits to effectively detect and address fuel adulteration and ensure fuel quality, noting that the department did indicate that it's expensive to implement this kit, but it might be a good thing to do. Number 4, fill the 28 vacant positions within the current financial year. Finalize the petroleum sector development plan by 31 March 2026 as planned. And point 6, streamline the operations of artisanal and small-scale miners across departmental entities, including Mintech and Council for Geoscience. I think the point was that various entities are doing some work around this subject. There needs to be some integration and collaboration. Point 5.7, provide continuous updates to the committee regarding progress of the two refineries set to be operational by 2030. 8, consider integrating Alexkor with other departmental entities in the long term to enhance its governance structure. 5.9, promptly address governance issues at Alexkor and make necessary senior management position to ensure effective operations. Ensure that the Council for Geoscience presents progress on the carbon capture and storage project to the committee by the fourth quarter of the current financial year. Present and demonstrate the functionality of the cadastral system in the fourth quarter of the current financial year. As members would recall, the department did offer at some point that it would, if called, it can come and present the cadastral system and demonstrate how it works. 12, ensure that the Central Energy Fund presents all forensic investigations conducted from 2014-15 to date to the committee by the third quarter of the current financial year. Expedite the finalization of key legislation, including Mineral Resources Bill. Thank you, Chairperson. That is the end of the observations and the recommendations on the budget.
Thank you very much, Mr. Maboda. Honorable members, that is the report for your consideration. Any take on the report? I see Honorable Lorima, Honorable Selepe, Honorable Mani, Honorable Hassan. I will take Honorable, okay, Honorable Hassan, Honorable Senne, Honorable Nchabele, Honorable Zungula. Is there anyone I have not mentioned that has their hand up? I think I've captured everybody. Honorable Ntlangwini. I think those are the hands that are up. If you have not raised your hand and you feel you need to make an intervention, that will be welcome. At a later stage, it's okay. Can we have Honorable Lorima?
Thanks, Mr. Chair. I can live with almost everything in this report. My exception being the very final recommendation, 5.13, which is on the screen at the moment. Expedite the finalization of key legislation. Completely agree with that, including the Mineral Resources Bill. Now, as there are many things in that bill which we disagree with, to the point where I think the bill in its current form should probably be withdrawn. I don't want to agree to a report which endorses this bill. So if we were to take out the including the Mineral Resources Bill and simply leave it at expedite the finalization of key legislation, I would be much, much happier.
Was that the only point?
That's my main point, Mr. Chair.
Okay, let's deal with it immediately, honorable members. Is there anyone who has a problem with what Honorable Lorima is suggesting? Because my understanding was that the Mineral Resources Bill will still come to us and we have all the right to discuss whatever you may not agree with, disagree with, and then we make our comments and all of it. But I'm quite not fighting the sentence if it reads expedite the finalization of key legislations, because there are many that we need finalized. Is there anyone who has a different view there?
Chair,
Because
can I just? My hand
yeah,
is already up. I don't want
yeah,
to bring
yeah,
it
yeah,
down. I think I'm last
yeah,
in the queue. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Just
Yeah.
shoot.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. No, Chair. It's just that Honorable Lorima is not saying what is his actual issue with including it. He just raises that including it is a problem. If maybe so that we just understand where he's coming from, then we can make an informed decision. Thank you.
Chair,
Uh,
Honorable Hassan.
Okay, Honorable Hassan.
No, thanks
Chair.
very much, Chair. May I go ahead?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I was going to suggest that we keep 5.13 in that it speaks to the expediting of key legislation, because that is a bit of a broad stroke, right? And that includes some of the sandpack bills that I think Sivu was speaking to earlier. Where we could have a discussion is removing the words including the mineral resources bill. But I think there is a need in this report to have a recommendation that speaks to basically speeding up the process of key legislation, because there are a number of bills, actually, Chair, that the department needs to fast track to get them to us. And they talk about it in almost every presentation to us, and yet none of them have officially been referred. So we could rework the wording of it, but I do think it's necessary to have a recommendation that deals with that. Thank you.
Okay. There was somebody who wanted to speak.
Chair. That's myself, Chair.
Okay, Nchabeleng and then Ntlangwini.
Yeah, Chair, I think during our tenure, this bill was not presented to us, so it will be good that if we just get it in and then we discuss what can be included to get it finalized. We're not against the finalization, but we needed to just get it into our committee and then do the final augmentation and inputs so that the bill can be finalized and then presented to Cabinet.
Okay. Thank you, Honorable Nchabeleng. Honorable Ntlangwini.
Thanks, Chair. I think I agree with my other colleagues and Honorable Hassan to an extent. I think maybe perhaps we must put in the finalization of key legislation and maybe perhaps list them all, which includes the mineral resources bill. And then, as you said, the Honorable Lorima, if you have any objections to the bill, when the bill comes to the committee, he can raise his discomfort or comfort in some parts of the bill. But let's keep it and then just add the key legislations that should still come to the committee.
Okay. Thank you, Honorable Ntlangwini. Honorable members, there are two proposals on the table. One is that we remain with expedite the finalization of key legislation. The other one says we must include listing of all. And before I put these two proposals, I just want to canvass Honorable Mani and Honorable Nchabeleng. The difficulty, Honorable Mani, is that the Mineral Resource Bill is still in circulation. It was published. So you can read it and disagree with some of the clauses, but it doesn't mean that those clauses will stick. It's just a matter of public comment. It's at the stage of public comment now. So it will still come to us, Honorable Nchabeleng, and we are the ones who are going to deal with it and then bring it to its finalization. So I want to canvass that let's not deal with the content of the bill itself, because it's still going to come to the committee presented by the department, and we will be able to consider it, discuss it, remove, edit, and so forth. And so I want to canvass that let's not go into it because it's still going to come. So whatever Honorable Lorima has differences on, you may have more or you may not. So to deal with it now may take us astray on what we are doing now. So my view and my plea is that let's rather consider the two proposals and see which one must be inserted there. Are we fine with that? Any take?
Chair, can I just
Honorable Member?
yeah, a quick one. I don't know. I think Honorable Lorima is probably overreacting. I mean, if you read that sentence does not make any commitment. It just highlights the thing, and it does not mean this bill is endorsed by this committee in any shape or form. It actually covers what you are saying, that expedite the finalization of key legislation, including mineral resources bill. This does not say that we support, or this. It just says whatever work is happening, including bringing it to this committee, that's all part of expediting. So it actually does not detract from his own. It does not disadvantage his own misgivings about this bill. It does not undermine his view at all. It just simply says that let's speed up everything, including that one. So I actually don't see the harm in keeping it in there, because it's a neutral position. It's not advancing anything. It's not delaying anything. It's just being mentioned. So I'm not understanding why it should be removed. At least here, it actually helps to make sure that it actually does get to the committee to be processed. That's what this is about. So I'm not understanding why the discomfort. Thank you.
Okay. Will we be not okay, honorable members, because Honorable Ntlangwini raises a point, which in the observation was also covered, that there are other bills like your SANPEC, your petroleum product bill, and so forth, that some of them have passed cabinet. They are coming to us, but they never reach here. To say expedite the following legislations, and I know Sivu and Mashudu are aware of those bills which are there, so they can list them, so that we don't single this one only. We put all of them together, and we reconcile our views. Will that be in order?
I will be covered, Chair. Thank you.
Any dissenting view, honorable members?
Mr. Chair.
Honorable Lorima?
As to what Honorable Mani said, I just wanted to explain that I'm anxious to avoid any possible endorsement of this bill. And as it says, the Mineral Resources Bill, the implication is, or could be, that it is the bill as presented. So once again, I come back to the most neutral way of dealing with this is, as Honorable Hassan said, just take out what's in yellow on the screen and just say expedite the finalization of key legislation. I'm absolutely behind that. Otherwise, I'm afraid I've got a problem.
So let's reserve the discomfort and comfortability. You are still going to express them when the bill comes. So you are saying, Honorable Lorima, even when we have tried to reconcile the two and say, let's list all of them so that it doesn't look like one is prioritized over the other, you still are uncomfortable?
Yes, Mr. Chair, it's not a question of prioritization or not. It's simply that any endorsement of this bill by me is I can't do. So, that kind of torpedoes the report for me. So I'm just trying to find a way that we can just make this extremely neutral. Expedite the finalization of key legislation. Stop it there. Then I've got no problem.
You know where that takes us now at the moment we are in. Honorable members, can you all lower your hands? All of you, please. Honorable Nchabeling, you are the last. Honorable members, there is a view from Honorable Lorima, and there is a view that we must list all the bills that must be expedited. Anyone who supports the listing of the bills, please raise your hand.
Chair?
Yes, Honorable Nchabeling.
I thought in the report those bills were already listed.
No, the sentence. We must vote on what is inserted on the sentence because
Oh, good. Okay.
we will adopt the report. Honorable members, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Please count myself in.
8. Okay, please lower your hands. Honorable members, I put the question. Those who say we must remove everything that is in yellow and not add anything, leave, expedite the finalization of key legislation. Can I see your hands? I see Honorable Lorima. That makes 8-1. It therefore means we are going to take Honorable Ntangwini's recommendation that we put all listed bills that we would want to expedite. Can we move on? Honorable Lorima, that was the only point you had issues on.
That's correct, Chair.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's move to Honorable Selepe.
Greetings, Honorable Chair, and members, colleagues, and the support staff. Thank you very much, Chairperson. Mine is just only one. After being the observation of that Petro SA remain challenging entity within this group, facing numerous allegations, I therefore as putting the recommendation that can we add that the Petro SA, we need to establish the commission of inquiry in checking the chop and change of this management, especially the CEOs. What is it really problem? Because we saw that there's a lot of money that has been mismanaged by this Petro SA. Can we recommend the commission of inquiry to be established, especially for this Petro SA? Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Selepe. I'm not sure legally whether we are in a position as a committee to establish a commission of inquiry. Maybe an inquiry, because when we say a commission, I'm not a legal fundi, but it may mean something. What is the take, honorable members, before we check the legality of this? Any take, Honorable Hassan?
Yeah. Oh.
Honorable Hassan and Honorable Mani?
Thanks, Chair. I'm just thinking aloud here because, of course, we've just heard the recommendation or the proposal rather now. I am a little bit worried about the wording of it. I think we can encourage investigation, accountability, we can encourage stuff with the AG, but I don't think, and I mean, we stand to be corrected, that a commission of inquiry is necessarily the best option. I also think that we can call in the recommendations, which is actually what I want to put forward, that they come and publicly account to us. You know, there's other ways in which we can hold them accountable. But I don't know if the best mechanism is what's being mentioned now, because that's a long drawn out process. People have to be appointed. It's a lot of money. And I think there's ways we can get the answer, but ultimately get what we want, which is actual accountability on what's going on in Petro SA through other means. So I would be a little bit hesitant just to support that off the cuff, unless we rethink the wording and get some legal advice from the parliamentary legal team. Can you see now it becomes a much more drawn out thing? Whereas if we just put a recommendation that we call on them to do this and they come to report to the committee in a month's time with the AG or whatever the case may be, I think we're going to get better outcomes, or at least faster outcomes of what we want to hear. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Hassan. Honorable Mani?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. No, I think the recommendation by Honorable Slepe is actually it's actually one of the reasons I was going to comment on this report. That, but before I get to that, just to address the question directly, I think, Chair, you are correct that the naming, it might have all kinds of legal implications. Calling it a commission, then it depends who must appoint the commission. Then you might have to involve the president, and it can be a long, drawn-out road to nowhere. But having an inquiry, as you also gave that alternative, is probably the way to go. Including perhaps one of the things that we could look at is establishing an ad hoc committee out of ourselves. We can always get expert advice and all of that, so that we can have this thing within our own control, as it was, what we can get to the bottom of it sooner rather than later. So I think the recommendation by Honorable Slepe to get some inquiry going is correct, and we can always clean up the detail later. But I think the principle that something must happen, I think it should be carried. And as I say, I concur with your anxiety about the word commission that might involving the president. Thank you.
For Honorable Nchabeling and Honorable Lorima, can I make a suggestion? And then, and please comment on it, Honorable Nchabeling and Honorable Lorima. The recommendation on 5.12 says that ensure that the minister must ensure that the Central Energy Fund, which is a mother to Petro SA, presents all forensic investigations conducted from 2014-2015 to date to the committee by the third quarter of the current financial year. Are we preempting that the forensic investigation on Petro SA won't be there? And if we are, can't we build into that recommendation and say probably including or specific, or we specify that we want Petro SA indeed to be there, or something like that? Because the forensic investigation, I may not be 100% sure, but I do know Petro SA is included there. And we should find comfort that it says to date, meaning it says up to this far, the forensic investigation that have been done. So I'm just putting it to you. Can I have Sivu first, and then I will have Nchabeling and Honorable Lorima.
All right. Good morning, members again. Yes, I was going to also go back to 4.12 as well, because for me, I think that it's a safer way of going about dealing with issues at Petro SA at a committee level, because the recommendation, the report is recommending the recommendation that members are deliberating on. They are asking the House, so the recommendations are to the minister. So the committee cannot recommend to itself. For example, the inquiry, I would assume that's an inquiry that would be, it's referring to it being done by the committee. So it can be, it can be here, but the safer way of putting it is 4.12 to say that the minister must ensure that the Central Energy Fund group, in fact, it should be group. We forgot, we just omission there. It should be group. By group, it refers to all Petro SA. It's referring to the motherboard as well as all the subsidiaries under Petro SA. So there's been lots of investigations since 2014, hence the date there. Since 2014, there's been outcomes in some, but never been presented to Parliament, or they were presented but never finished. So I would advise to members that we stick to 4.12, that they come and present all those forensic reports. And then from those discussions, then the committee decides if they are unhappy with what they've had, then they can propose that as a committee, we must do a deeper investigation then into Petro SA. These forensic investigations and everything else would also include the current issues that are being experienced at Petro SA and the media issues that were also ventilated on by the acting by the CFO of Petro SA when they were presenting the APP last week. So I would suggest that members stick to 4.12, and then if there's a need for a deeper inquiry after 4.12, then that is made as a recommendation that becomes a resolution that goes into the minutes of the committee. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Maboda. Crown Prince. Honorable Nchabele.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair. Morning, members. I think, Chair, the one is the recommendation needs to be properly worded as to what recommendation action is required. As you've explained and alluded, and as Honorable Mani has actually even further explained properly, just to say we're shooting in the dark doesn't make any sense. I think we should thoroughly consider this process. Secondary to it is that one, I think we may be conflating the issues. There's been an amalgamation as well as a merging of these companies. What are we investigating at previous company that is already now being amalgamated? Because Petro SA, Central Energy Fund, all the companies that are under, currently are now under the South African National Petroleum Company. So, in terms of the existence of these entities, they are going away. So, sometimes we might even be doing something that is already gone. The thing is, we need to put a recommendation that actually measures must be put in place to the new company that is starting as SNPC to make sure that there is proper regulatory, there is proper accountability, as well as there is proper, reporting taking place from the day one of the operation of SNPC. And then the suggestion that was brought forward to say that we need to pull back all the audited, audit reports from 2015 is sound. I think that's what we need to be engaged in within the committee in order maybe to pull back those audit reports of forensic audits or audit reports that were done, whichever one, and we bring it in and we discuss it and we go through, fine combing of it thoroughly. Then after that, in the next quarter, we can then present into the committee as to what can now then be adopted as an action to, thoroughly deal with this issue. Right now, we are preempting something we don't actually have a much clarity on. Further on, let's get the reports in. With the reports, then we take it forward to an actionable item. That is the suggestion, because I think I agree with the fact that there needs to be a look in. But that look in right now, if we just say a forensic or a commission, wouldn't suffice if we don't know what we're looking at. But with the reports, we can even drill down to say 1, 2, 3 must be followed up with regards to this particular, inquiry by the portfolio committee. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Honorable Nchabele. Maybe as a way, and I agree with you on the submission, maybe as a way of allaying your fears of conflating issues, it would appear that SANPEC is operating under the SAF Act as it is now, up until the SANPEC bill comes. That's why it makes sense for all of us to agree that let's list the bills that or legislation that are urgent and not list one, because SANPEC is one of the urgent ones that will be able to remove SANPEC to be a standalone as an entity. But as it is now, we are well within our right to ask SAF to come and give a forensic investigation conducted by it because it still operates under the SAFE Act. I don't know whether that helps, but that's how it is. Honorable Lorima?
Thanks, Chair. I do agree with both Mr. Mabota and Honourable Chabaleng. We can probably do without a separate 5.14. My only worry would be that we do not limit what this committee can do to just forensic investigations that have already been conducted. There may be a wider scope. So we may want to say something in there to give ourselves the opportunity to conduct a wider investigation. But I agree that the starting point should be the forensic investigations.
Okay. Will we not be still within our scope if we wait for these forensic investigations and then from there we take a resolution? Because it doesn't have to be this report that gives us powers to do a certain step and amend our program to focus on certain issues. Will that be not sufficient, Honorable Lorim?
I think that'll work, Chair.
Okay. Honorable Nchabeling, put your hand down, please, as I move to Honorable Mani.
Yeah, thank you, Chair.
Chair.
Honorable Slepe, I see
Yes,
your
Chair.
hand, Honorable Slepe, but Mani's hand was up before yours.
No,
Yeah,
I
thank you,
think
Chair.
I think whether we're still on the same point of my submission or it's the Honorable Manis for the new point. I just want to check that.
No, he wants to enhance. It's still your point. He wants to enhance.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chair.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I want to submit my last point. Thank you, Chair.
Okay.
I'll then come.
Honorable Mani.
Okay, thank you, Chair. Chair, I'm just a bit concerned that I think we're mixing issues here. Two issues. One, I think 5.12 talks to historical what, and it's dating back to 2014 to 2015. Now, if one understands how government things work, if a minister is the one that is driving that, then it's going to be death by investigation. They will finish the term without that thing being complete and all of that. So that's the first point. Secondly, what it also does, this thing, Chairperson, it does not take any new information into account. It just says present all forensic investigations conducted. So it's off-the-shelf stuff. Yet the situation that we're dealing with now is in real time. Something has happened. Whatever has happened now will most definitely not have been covered here, because here we're not saying this is not live. We're actually saying go to the cupboard and bring out the files. This is what this is about. This is just desktop research. What this is, what 5.12 talks to. Yet 5.14 talks to real-time issues, which could both be forensic and other, and so on. So, Chair, I want us to separate these things. 5.14 can also include checking whether even the ministry itself is implicated in this, whereas 5.12 puts the minister on a higher pedestal as this white knight that is trying to find the problem. 5.4 says there's problems everywhere, potentially even in the ministry, as it was. So I see these as two separate points. I'm not interfering with 5.112. It can carry on to go wherever it wants to go. But 5.14 is very important. It's a standalone thing, which includes everybody else that needs to be looked at in terms of real-time issues, Chairperson. I just thought let's not conflate the two. Thank you.
Okay, before I go to Honorable Slepe, may I persuade you, Honorable Mani, that the investigations that we're talking about until date, most of the things that probably you have anxiety on are those that are coming every week by Amabungani and all of that. They did not happen now. They happened and they may be part of the forensic, but the reports are coming now. Would you not be comfortable if we wait for these forensic investigation reports to us, given the fact that even the ministry itself is investigated, because forensic is not done by the minister or the ministry, it's done by an independent body that will give a report and make recommendations. And at that point, we will say, no, no, we want a separate inquiry on the following issues. Can we live with that, Honorable Mani?
Can I just check who instructs the inference? Check. I'm sure you know how these things work. If I'm the principal, that is the one that is directing what should happen, and then the investigators must still come to me to verify if they're still on track. And you can direct this thing left or right. So, Chairperson, I don't want to cast aspersions on anybody. I'm just saying 5.14 provides the necessary neutrality, the necessary comfort that is required. 5.12, part of the people that are possibly implicated can be part of the briefing of this thing. That's why it's easy to say, let's see what happened in those years and so on. This will all be a managed process, Chairperson. I'm sure we've all been around. We know how these things work. So please.
The difficulty I'm having, Honorable Mani, that's why I want to persuade you, is that if you see the recommendations, the way we are instructed to make recommendations or this report is that we must ask the minister to do the following. So we can't ask the minister to establish a commission of inquiry or investigation and inquiry ad hoc committee. It takes us back to what you are saying can go left or right. And I'm saying let's wait for the report so that it's us who say at that time, based on the report, we want an inquiry, an investigation. And whether it takes a form of ad hoc or not, it can only be determined at that time. Do I make sense, Honorable Mani?
Yes, you're making sense, Chair. Just put timelines on all of that. Thank you.
Okay, I think let's find comfort that the report that sentence as well is saying we must be briefed by the third quarter of the current financial year. That's a clear timeline, and then at that time we will put a clear timeline on what we want to do moving forward. Let's leave it at that, Honorable Selepe.
Yeah, thank you very much, Chairperson. Yeah, as they are editing that, a commission of inquiry after the long engagement about it, they can remove that commission. I now having the clear understanding. Chair, the last one is, I don't know the real establishment of the petroleum company, the Sunpack, what are the requirements? But looking at the space where it was launched, I think it's premature of this peg to be launched prior the bill to pass all the necessary stages. I think on that one, on the recommendation, I'm checking, Chair, you'll assist me on that one, whether it was the right time for the Sunpack to be launched at the time where it was launched, because a lot of things are there on that bill, but when we are not expecting it to be launched, and then it was launched. Then I'm a bit curious about that, why it was so quick to be launched while the bill is still not being finalized. Yeah, that's my submission. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Thank you, Honorable Slepe, and I think your concern is justified. But in legal terms, they found a way to do it without the bill coming into effect, which is a lease and assign model, which they explained to us, self-explained to us that they're going to use a lease and assign model, still be operating under the SAF Act up until the Sunpack bill is adopted. And I should implore all of us to leave it at that and interrogate SAF when they come again on the bill that should come to us and we finalize this issue. Your in all honesty and fairness, your concern is justified. However, legally, they are within the legal bounds to operate within the lease and assign model moving forward. Honorable members, are we fine to step out of these views that were submitted by Honorable Slepe so that we move to Honorable Mani? Are we okay, honorable members?
Chair,
Yes, Honorable Slepe.
yeah, I'm checking. After the recommendation, maybe the wording has been changed and put in the sound way. I see it's been deleted. I'm not sure whether we are taking the one for point 12. We are using it because everything maybe got that, or that recommendation is gonna be removed like that. I'm just want to get it started on that one.
Yeah, we're taking 5.12 because 5.14 was saying we must have the minister establishing the commission of inquiry, and you can't establish a commission inquiry to investigate yourself. That's the point that we ended up agreeing on, to say, let's receive the report first, and then it's us who say we insist on the investigation, and then we'll determine at that time whether we put it as ad hoc or whatever form it will take. I see you are comfortable. Thank you very much. Honorable Mani?
Yeah, no, Chair. I was going to just comment on the overall of this report. That if you read this report sitting at home or anywhere, I think it's very well couched. It's hiding a lot of rot, as it were. You don't read this report and get the sense of the amount of wrong that is going on. So I think it's very what's the right word? It's a serious PR of sorts. This report. I mean, if you look, for instance, the issues that we've just spent the whole how much time? Almost an hour dealing with now, which just shows the intensity of the issues here. But if you read this report, you get the sense that things are actually fine. It's a tweak here and a tweak there, but otherwise everything is fine. I mean, if you look at the issues of even health and safety, it's everything else mentioned, but we don't even get to hear what is being done to enhance safety in the mines, to make sure that the fatality rate is almost extinguished, and all of that, you know. So yeah, Chair. So I must say, I'm not going to any specific thing. I'm just talking I'm talking up to the general posture of this report, that I think it's sort of misrepresenting the reality. It has just nicely polished things, and the rot that is inherent in what is what should have been surfaced. I think it's elegantly hidden in here, Chair, and therefore I just need to just read my discomfort, Chair. Thank you very much.
Okay. Can honorable members, can we appreciate that the researcher and the content advisor and the secretary of the portfolio committee are not necessarily meant to enter into our politics? They must compile a report. And I'm saying this because, Honorable Mani, when we debate, adopting a report does not mean when we go and debate, you must not raise all this rot that you are talking about. And I would suggest that let's not contaminate or urge the officials to enter into whether subjective or objective issues. We must raise them ourselves when we debate and when we adopt the report in the National Assembly. Does that make sense, Honorable Mani?
Yeah, no, I hear you, Chair, but all I'm saying, I hear you, and I'm not asking them to do anything political, but I just was hoping that when the report is put together, it must have a semblance of an indication of the issues. Nothing political. These are all factual things, but the report must not give a posture of all is well. Otherwise, it's a little thing here, a little thing there, but otherwise we're on track and all of that. And yet there's all kinds of forensic investigations being asked for here, etc. So yeah, Chair, I still maintain my point, but I hear you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Honorable Ntlangwini?
Thank you very much, Chair. I think the correct process, if Honorable Manye wants to raise any recommendation or anything in the report, this is the platform to raise it. And if that we agree or disagree on any point that he wants to raise on this platform, he still have a chance when we are debating the report next week to raise whatever he is discomfort on the report. But there is a guideline in terms of how researchers of parliament needs to conduct these reports. And it have always happened in ways like that. And if we are feeling discomfort, we raise our points here, we raise what we don't feel comfortable on. And if we still the need still arise on many issues that we want to raise, we go and raise it in the debate. If it gets dismissed there, we still have another platform as political parties. But to expect the researchers now to sort of spoon feed us as to no, you need to say this, you need to say that, you need to say that, it will also be wrong, and it will also temper on their professionalism as researchers. And then it will be us tomorrow that will come back and attack them and say, but these researchers are politicians by the end of the day. Why they trampling on work of politicians? So I think if we need to raise our points, let's raise our points and not try to attack researchers in terms of the work that they are doing. This is just a framework. It's a skeleton. In fact, it's our report. We can put in whatever we need to put into the report. Thank you, Chair.
Yeah, I think you were just reinforcing the point I was making, and I would really want us to step out of this, Honorable Mani, because it is just the way it is. They compile a report. If we feel there is a specific issue we want to add, we add. If we wish to raise that on the debate, we do that. There's no other way in which we can do this report. I would really plead with you, Honorable Mani, that we move on to the next person to ask questions or to contribute. We have really exhausted this part. I don't want us, I'm avoiding a debate, Honorable Mani, on this issue. You may not agree, Honorable Mani.
Yeah, no, okay, Chair, I will pause on this point, but I think Honorable Ntlangwini has missed the point completely. I was not asking for any spoon feeding. I was asking for an accurate reflection of what I think is the situation. But I hear your point. We can move.
Fine. Thanks, Honorable Mani. Honorable Zungula, is it on the same point, or you're still on the list? If you want to speak on the same point, can you proceed?
Chair, it's not on the same point. I sent you a message. I've got an emergency. So I wanted to ask if I can come in, or maybe I can post my proposals on the group chat.
I don't think honorable members will have a problem with that. Honorable members, can he proceed? I had noted him second last, but if there's an emergency, I think we can live with it.
Thank you, Chair. Just briefly, there's two suggestions I wanted to propose. The first one is that there's some concerns that have been raised when it comes to NGOs and beneficiation. So I was going to propose that must be coupled with they must be coupled with recommendations. The first recommendation, I propose that it must read as follows. The department must develop mechanisms to prevent foreign-funded NGOs from blocking development. Then the second one, the department must present a substantive framework to ensure mineral beneficiations for all minerals. Thank you. That's all I wanted to propose.
Thank you, Honorable Zungula. Honorable members, are we in agreement with the two proposals? I don't see any harm in that.
Agreed, Chair.
Silence. Thank you very much. Honorable Senne, it's your turn.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. Greetings to the members. Chair, I'm not sure if what I'm going to talk about was covered, but I think in this current financial year, it is critical that we closely monitor, Chair, the implementation of social and labor plans to ensure that mining communities receive the developmental benefits they are entitled to. So I wanted to propose, Chair, that we have a sentence that speaks about the implementation and also monitoring of the SLPs. Thank you, Chair. I'm done, Chair.
Okay. Honorable members, there is the short sentence that is proposed there in 5.16. Is there any dissenting view? Silence would mean consent. We move to Honorable Nchabeleng. Honorable Nchabeleng.
Chair?
Go ahead.
Okay, Chair, I just wanted to add a point on the issue relating to the report. Let me just pull up my notes. There was a report with regards to Alexkor. In our oversight, the Alexkor municipality did indicate that they are not currently ready to accept or to take the municipality, to take the housing from Alexkor into their municipality. I don't know if we did factor that in and we were able to, reflect it properly in the report, because I see in the report it says that they are waiting for deeds transfers, transferable deeds. But according to our report, the municipality says they don't want those houses. So I don't know how we are going to resolve that into the report as to how to actually insert it. So that's number one to be, included into that whole thing. The other input is, I think we need to come to a point where we can actually resolve the issue of the South African National Petroleum Company in terms of how it's going to integrate all these other companies under its ambit and umbrella, and what is expected in respect to the South African National Company to be, so that we don't have this conflicting issues that are arising out of the whole process, and other aspect of reporting, because right now that the whole company is under the new management, we need just clarity on that. So I don't see the report talking to that issue particularly.
Okay, are you done?
Yeah, and then the shale gas, there's no clarity as to what must be done. Maybe let me provide a bit of clarity. The last stage that was outstanding on the shale gas issue was that the Department of Forestry, Fishery and Environmental Affairs should finalize, because there was a 10 years moratorium which has collapsed, and now the department is opening up the process. What the Department of Forestry and Fisheries must do is to finalize the framework rules according to the way the court was instructing, to say that all issues related to environmental, all issues relating to community and stakeholders engagement, all issues relating to how the process will be undertaken on the licensing, everything, the department must provide a framework, and that framework has not as yet been provided. So I think that is a point that we must just, insert in there to say we want the department's finalization of the moratorium framework for lifting it, and it should be made clear in the report. Yeah.
So, Honorable Chabeling, thank you. On the last part, there is 5.2 that says engage urgently. The minister must engage urgently with the Minister of Forestry, Fisheries and Environment regarding the shale gas moratorium and provide a joint update. A joint update meaning we will have to have a joint meeting with Forestry and ourselves for the update by the fourth quarter, which is a time frame of that financial year. What do you want us to add there to create clarity? Because it's already there.
The meeting is one thing. The department has to be told that they have to finalize the framework, what do you call it, the departmental framework on how this process is going to be undertaken. We can have a meeting with them, but the output in terms of the work items for them is to do the framework, which is outstanding.
Okay.
Yeah. We need that framework. Even when they come to us, they need to tell us what is their level of process and to how far are they on the framework process.
Okay. The first issue I think Mr. Maboda is trying to, or Mashoud, they're trying to incorporate that. While they do that, I think on the first issue around Alexkor and the municipality's readiness to deal with adopt the town, you would remember that before the budget review, these budget plans were presented to us, and we are dealing with that. It was at the time when we didn't go to Alexkor. So the report you are looking for and the recommendations you are looking for us to make will be on the next report that we are going to deal with, which is oversight report on Alexkor. That will make recommendations on the non-readiness of the municipality to take over. So it can't be on this report because this is a budget report that belongs to the oversight report, which, as I have read it, there is a clear recommendation and observations there. Can we deal with it and you enhance it at that level when we get there? Is that
Yes, Chair. Thank you so much. We can do that.
Okay, thank you. Honorable Hassan?
Sorry, Chair, I just want to check that you can hear me because I just have to swap devices.
Yes, we can hear you.
Excellent. You can see me, so I'm going to turn off my camera. I've got a few points, Chair, I wanted to put forward regarding the draft budget vote report. The first point, Chair.
Wait, Honorable Hassan.
Okay.
I'm following a list.
Oh, sorry.
You are still to come.
Okay, no, then I'm fine. I'll wait till my turn.
You are still to come. Honorable Ntlangwini. Honorable Ntlangwini, it's your turn.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay, before we continue, Honorable Ntlangwini, Mashudu.
Morning, Chairperson, and morning, honorable members. Chair, I just need some guidance on 5.2 regarding the line that is highlighted in yellow. I did not hear what Honorable Nchabeling, which framework he is referring to, just to provide clarity to the last sentence of 5.2, if that's possible.
Honorable Nchabeling, can you come back and give guidance on the sentence it's incomplete, and we can't move without that sentence being completed. Sorry, Honorable Ntangweni, we'll come back.
Okay, Chair, you were saying I must complete the sentence?
You did mention something about the department providing and finalizing the framework. Is
Yes.
there a specific name for the framework, or just the framework to do what? We want clarity to.
Okay. There
formulate.
is an outcome by the moratorium framework, which says when the moratorium for the shale gas and drilling has been lifted, the department was instructed by a court action to say that they must then, after the collapse of the moratorium, they must provide a departmental framework on the requirements for licensing and drilling. So the framework will speak directly to say, okay, if you're going to do this and that, this is what must happen, in respect to the framework.
Okay. Can I have a suggestion, Honorable Nchabeling?
Yeah, I can send in the words, later on, and then I can just give you the proper framing of it, in terms of that wording report.
It can be later on, though it must be now. Let me just give you a few minutes when we proceed with this. While we proceed with this, you
Perfect.
draft it and send it to us, because it must come back to this forum so that when we adopt the report, we know what we are adopting. Honorable Ntangweni?
Thank you very much, Chair. My one point was already raised by the Honorable Zungula, because it also speaks to what we have, PASA have told us last week, as to many of the projects are being stalled because of these NGOs keeping them busy in court. So that one I'm happy with that input, because that one will also cover that aspect. And then the one for me as well that I think that needs to be made mention, that the department have only sealed 3 derelict mines per this financial year. So I think we need to put in a recommendation is it's either the state will have to invest more money in sealing these mines, or some form of recommendation in that regard of sealing of these derelict mines that are being unsafe in our communities, and people are dying. And most of all, at times, it happens to be kids that falling into those pits. So maybe perhaps we need to speak to that. And I think that is the only 2 points for me, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Ntangweni. Mr. Maboda, ordinarily when we speak to the point that Honorable Ntangweni is raising, we made recommendations that CGS must get additional funding to deal with derelict and ownerless mines. Have we not put that, and how can we put it there? Because I don't want it to be a separate point, Honorable Ntangweni. We need to make a case for the minister to fight for additional allocation to deal with this issue. In the previous term, Honorable Lorima will know, there was this point we made, and there was additional funding to CGS. Maybe we must express that it's not enough as it is as well. I don't know how the committee's feeling. For us to, Mr. Mabonda, can you give direction on this?
All right. We'll find a proper wording of the recommendation, Chair, but it's not the same as the CGS recommendation. So the CGS one was talking to Dolomite and expanding the mandate around infrastructure, etc. We can still keep this one. We'll just reword it properly, Chair.
Okay. Are you fine, Honorable Tlangwini? We keep it separate, but we polish it?
That's perfectly fine, Chair. And then there was when you were raising, there was the last one that I missed.
Okay.
Chair, can I bring it in?
Yes.
If it's not already mentioned, we need to get more funds to Mantech and to Council of Geoscience for the work that they are doing in terms of research and development, because many a times these are the types of budgets that are being cut. So I think there must be some form of recommendations that speak to saying that National Treasury must look into enhancing or giving more money than cutting, going to R&D and cut. I don't know, how can we frame it?
Mr. Maboda, we don't have that. I thought we made that observation. I don't know whether we made the recommendation.
No, Chair, we don't have the recommendation.
Yeah, let's lift the observation into a recommendation on that regard. Are we fine with that, honorable members? Silence will mean consent. Honorable Hassan.
Thank you very much, Chair. Was just giving a thumbs up. Is it my turn now?
Yes.
Excellent. All right. I just have a few points I'd like to put forward. The first is, I'm just going to give you the page number because I'm working off my document. I think it's page 24 under the actual findings and observations, and it's related to the possible mandate overlaps. What I wanted to put forward here, Chair, is around maybe specifically mentioning the gas cliff. And the reason why I wanted to do that in the observation is I'm going to make a comment related to this point in the recommendation. So this is one of those issues where the overlapping mandate has a direct effect on. So I wanted to first put that in the observations, and then it will echo itself when I make a point about the recommendation there as well. So that's the first point I wanted to make. The second point, I'm trying to make my screen a little bit smaller so I can see both at the same time. Yeah, that's the first point. The second is related to, sorry, I'm just scrolling through. The second falls on page,
Honorable Hassan,
yes,
you don't want to frame the
sentence.
The sentence so that as we
Yes.
go along, we also agree and disagree if possible.
All right, let's try that. I was really just going to add here where it says specifically related to gas. I was going to say gas issues and the impending gas cliff. So it deals with the broad sectoral issues, but it also deals with the point that we're going to make, which I think is necessary on the gas cliff matter. Yeah, that was the only change I was going to make here. When you allow me, Chair, I'll move to the next point.
Okay, we'll allow it for now because we must hear what you are proposing as a recommendation coming from this. Yeah.
Yes. Let me actually, for the sake of being clear, go straight to that recommendation, just so that while we're on this point of the gas cliff, we are able to deal with the issues at the same time. Sorry, Chair, of course, everything happens all at once. Sorry, I'm just scrolling down. We can go to the recommendations specifically on, okay, there we go. The recommendations specifically on, actually, this is it. We need to add a recommendation. And basically, the recommendation needs to read that there needs to be intervention, or let's say cross-collaboration rather, between the ministers of mineral and petroleum resources, as well as electricity and energy, to address the impending gas cliff, given the overlapping mandate. I don't know if I'm speaking too quickly. Cross-collaboration with both ministers, given the overlapping mandate related to gas. Yeah, and the impending gas cliff. right? Full stop. So let me just say, Chair, if you'll allow me, I wanted to say something that basically there needs to be an intervention. And I wanted to keep it broad to say cross collaboration so that they can obviously decide we're not overstepping on our abilities, but basically that there needs to be an intervention from both ministries to deal with this gas cliff, because it's dealing with upstream and with downstream at the same time. But we almost need to force them to do it. And I'm saying this because what's becoming clearer and clearer as the weeks go on, that both ministers are sort of passing it on to each other and nobody wants to deal with the issue. So that's why I wanted it to feature as one of the problems or one of the concerns related to the overlapping mandate. So I don't know if this is a strong enough way of wording it. I was going to actually say what I wrote in my notes was a recommendation or a proposal that the ministers create some sort of an interministerial task team to deal with it. But I don't know if that's an overstep on the separation of powers. I'll be led by you on that, Chair.
Yeah, I think let's stick to this wording, cross collaboration, because we do not have the powers to establish a interministerial committee. Honorable members, when we will pass to the next point, but let's deal with this suggestion by Honorable Hassan. Is there a dissenting view? Are we in agreement? Sometimes we do need to put these things on
Yes, Chair.
Thank you,
Chair.
Honorable Willing.
Maybe to add even on what Honorable Hassan is talking about is we need a clarity in terms of what can be done with regards to the gas cliff. The clarity is we need a proper mandate bill that will actually, be introduced that will protect the coal industry and the utilization of the coal industry to create that methane-rich gas as well as a fuel, as well as ensuring that the coal industry, decarbonization process can be done through this process. So, in order to avoid the gas cliff, one, we definitely need the lifting of the shale gas moratorium in order to have gas exploration in South Africa. Secondary to it is we need a bill that will talk to protection of the coal resources rather than the demonization of it now. So it is my points that I wanted to add. I don't know how we can frame it into the bill, into the report.
Would you have a problem if we were to leave it like that, but at some point the committee calls the two ministers to speak exactly to what you wanted to add, and then rather make it a resolution and we take it from there? Would you be comfortable?
Yeah, I'll be comfortable. But the reflection of it is the current problem of the gas cliff is related to the unavailability of access to gas resources. So shale gas exploration is critical to avert the current crisis that is pending. So the moratorium is critical, and I've got the waiting for that moratorium. So that's the number one. The other part of it is I'm happy to say let's get the two ministers to come in to give us a process on how they can actually talk to the bill for the coal as well as the methane-rich gas processing and all of that using coal itself on the coal utilization. I'm quite comfortable with that.
Okay, let's leave it like this, and then we'll specify what we are looking for when we invite them to present jointly on the gas cliff. Honorable Hassan, are you good to proceed to your next point?
I'm comfortable with the approach that you have just outlined. If I can take us back to the findings and observations under MinTech. It's just a small addition. I'll just wait for us to get there. Just trying to see on my side. Yeah, perfect. So you see this first point where it talks about support for artisanal and small-scale miners. I wanted to cross-reference So the department has got its own artisanal and small-scale mining policy paper, or I don't know if I'm using the right wording, but I know they have some sort of policy, which every time we ask them about, they don't really, they're like, oh yeah, it's there. But I would like us to cross-reference it here so that in the future they can come and present on it. But I thought it's just important to put it in some sort of an observation. And Mintech was a perfect place to do that because they were talking about support for artisanal small-scale mining. So I was going to say, okay, the sentences as it is fine, while recognizing the challenges posed by funding constraints. We furthermore call for, or might be a recommendation, the implementation of the actual policy or them to come and present on it, something like that. But basically that we must make reference to it.
Okay, so there is a policy which I think was not enforceable. They would implement it, but it was not enforceable, which if you go and read the review of the I must just remove the MP, I must remove the P on MPRDA. So it will be MRDA, the one that we were speaking about. It does bring some enforcement into it, and we will have an opportunity to make comments on the bill. Do you think our earlier recommendation that lists which Honorable Lorima had some issues with, we can't leave it at this and then intervene at that level when we make our own observations and our submissions?
That's fine, Chair, because
Okay.
that highlights the concern I had. Thank you.
Okay. While you are there, because this is your point, you'll move to the next one. Honorable Slepe, you had your hand up. Is it on this issue that Honorable Hassan is raising?
Chair is a courtesy hand. There's a point that I wanted to come after everyone has been submitted their points. Thank you.
Okay, that's fine. Honorable Hassan, can you proceed?
Yes, thank you, Chair. I'm now back at the observations, specifically under Alexkor. It's actually the last point under the Alexkor matter referring to the local municipality. Right. So here, an Honorable Nchabaleng mentioned it, and I think it is important in the observations just here, particularly because in the later part of our report, I know we're going to deal with it in detail next, but you see here, we need to say something about the local municipality indicating the challenges that they have in taking over the running of the specific services. And that is important because they were very clear. For example, they said they don't want to, in fact, they cannot take over the running of electricity, even though it's Eskom direct. They mentioned some of the other challenges. So the reason why it becomes important is in the later part of the recommendations, we sort of talk about turning it around, all of that. So I think it is an important point to just add in here. So I would just, second sentence. The municipality also highlighted I was going to say challenges again, but I think we might have to synonym that later. But basically highlighted their own challenges with taking over certain services from Alexkor in Alexandra Bay Township. The only thing, after this, Chair, I don't mind, we can change the word challenges to a synonym just so that it reads better, but that's that point I'm comfortable with. And then I'll wait for your go ahead for the next point.
I think it's okay in this manner, since we are going to make recommendations where they belong on this matter on the other report. That's where yourself and Honorable Nchabaleng may come with a recommendation. Here, this observation I think is enough. We can just proceed to another point if honorable members are fine.
Okay, thank you, Chair. So I think it's almost my last point. It's on recommendation 5.8. It's related to Alexkor. We can just go there, yeah. There we go. Consider integrating Alexkor, etc. I want to highlight a challenge with this particular recommendation, especially on the wording of integration. Chair, and it's very opportune that we should have gone to Alexkor.
Can I just interject there? And I will give you the opportunity because I had this point as well that is a problem. Mashudu and Siv, what does this sentence mean?
All right. It's a long-term recommendation or a long-term idea. Because you have, for example, entities like the African Exploration and Mining that are doing similar work with, there is a mining state-owned entity, and then you have Alexkor as well as a mining state, as a state-owned entity, but with that different arrangement that it's got. So there needs to be some thinking around how Alexkor works with other entities within the department that are doing the similar work, like the African Exploration and Mining, for example, in this instance. Thanks.
Okay, Honorable Hassan, I think that is helpful to your input. Can you proceed?
It is, although I'm not 100% sure I agree, but let me make the point and
Agreeing
then...
is another thing,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I wanted to understand as well, what do they mean? Because now it's clear that you have AE that falls under SEF, it's doing mining, and then you have Alexkor that does not fall under SEF, is doing mining and all of that. Disagreeing is another thing. I just wanted us to take it from this understanding. I also don't agree, but let's proceed from this point.
Yeah, let me raise the concern and then we'll be guided by you, Chair. My concern with using the word integrating, and I understand the points Sibu and Mashudu are making about the long-term nature of Alexkor. I think there's a couple points here. The first is that it is opportune that we went there very recently. We saw quite literally the direct and economic dependence on Alexkor. I mean, it's not just the community. I mean, the community is the most critical point, but it's not only them who's directly dependent. If you look at the municipality, if you look at those, I mean, Mr. Craythorne and all the marine contractors, they are directly dependent. And in fact, going there has shown me that had Alexkor not existed, there would be nothing there. And so I am a little bit worried about paving a pathway for certain nefarious elements, which I think we all could identify, who want Alexkor to collapse so that they can buy it over, etc., etc. I don't want us to help them pave the pathway there. I think that there's an importance in saying we can look at the long-term strategy for, we can even use words like, competitive edge and realigning mandates and things like that. But I am a little bit worried about using the word integrating in particular, because it implies that Alexkor may not exist in the future. And I don't think that's the right way to go about, especially given what communities have said. And the last point on that, Sibu, I think as we work on it, I would suggest we remove it for now, because I also want us to look at the legality of it. If you look at the legality of how Alexkor had to be recreated in the modern, or let me say post-democratic era with the PSJV and this RMC and what, I do wonder if one would have to go to court and do a whole new process if we wanted to integrate Alexkor somewhere. So this is a very structural point that may not even be seen in this administration, and we would need to get proper legal opinions. One of the things that the chairperson mentioned of the board is that they have to go to court to even reappoint the RMC board members. Now, I didn't even realize it was that hectic. So I am just a little bit worried, and I wanted to maybe put forward, and again, I'll be guided by you, Chair, maybe just the removal of it, or we rework the sentence entirely and say we need to rethink the mandate of Alexkor for long-term longevity. And, if we want, this could be an opportunity I mean, we know the Buchubai green economic zone is going to be set up, green hydrogen, etc. That could be an opportunity, but I just didn't want us to put in a recommendation here that could pave the way for nefarious actors who want to collapse Alexkor. Thanks, Chair. I'll wait for feedback from you.
Honorable members, are we fine if we remove this sentence, considering what Honorable Hassan has outlined and the complications? Honorable Senator?
Thank you, Chairperson. I'm very much comfortable with what Honorable Hassan has said. Thank you.
Any dissenting view, honorable members? Honorable members, I need these things on record. Honorable members, are we still in a meeting?
Yes, Chair, we are still in the meeting. Is it the time for me to make my input?
No, we are on this sentence that is highlighted. Given what Honorable Hassan motivated for it to be removed, I want a second, and there's already an agreement that it must be removed, but I need a seconder.
Okay, I move to second it.
Thank you very much. Let's remove the point. Honorable members, Honorable Sene, can you take your hand down? Honorable members, we have now made inputs on the Honorable Mani.
Sorry, Chair, just a quick one, Chair, without taking the meeting back. You know that point that has just been removed. I'm just wasn't it government thinking that when what's that thing on when DPE was being dissolved, so called, that would be sort of the kind of direction that government would be taking, that institutions like SAA and so on, transport would then be in the transport department, and so on and so on and so on, all of those departments, so that the aligned departments in government are also responsible for the SOE type arrangements, as opposed to having DPE. Wasn't that the thinking? Which means that line that we've just taken out was actually in line with that government thinking. I'm not so sure, Chair, has that thinking changed now? Because I think that line, in terms of the macro framework of government, I thought that was the approach, Chair. So I thought that line was in line with the macro approach.
Yeah, I think, Honorable Mani, there is no disagreement with the point you are making. It's the complication that comes with us putting a clause that we had put there, and you have just highlighted more complications there, which actually justifies why we can't have that point there. I'm not sure whether you are aware that there is a state-owned entity bill that is currently prepared or proposed, and I think it falls under Minister
I'm
Maru.
aware of it, Chair. That is a recreation of DPE in the presidency, basically. I'm aware of
so
that,
I'm saying if we appreciate the complication of such things, whether Alexkor will be part of it, and then do we really need to have a resolution that is not clarified to us at the moment? Appreciating that what you have said is not necessarily wrong, but the complication that, because we don't want to make resolutions for the sake of them, we must submit them to the minister to implement so that we hold him accountable. Can we live with that sentence out of our report? That's what I'm asking, Honorable Mani. Honorable Mani?
Yeah, no, Chair, I hear you. I'm just thinking, Chair, because I think my general posture towards that centralization of everything into the presence office, I think it's a wrong way to go. So actually, if truth be told, I think that sentence actually is much more efficient and all that, Chairperson. I think this thing of making everything in union buildings and so on, and we had said that I don't know, Chair. I'm generally I think I'm opposed. I'm opposed to the consolidation that is currently in place. I'm opposed to the consolidation in place because that consolidation is nothing else other than a recreation of DPE under the president. Now, instead of having Pravin Gordhan, we are now going to have, may his soul rest in peace. We are now going to have Cyril Ramaphosa or Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa. That's what you're going to have, Chair. I just don't like games like that.
Honorable Nani, if you listen to Honorable Hassan, and I'm not sure, I think you were not there when we went for oversight.
No, I was not.
The only complication is not where it's placed. It's not these politics that you are coming with. The manner in which Alexkor was recreated, instructed by the court, the deeds, the deeds office, and all of that, moving assets to where, and it complicates matters. And we are saying to move the whole town and services like electricity, water, and all of that to the community. It's a matter that may need to go back to court because already there are things that are not going all right. Do we need to have...
Covered.
Sorry?
I'm covered.
Yeah.
I'm covered, Chair. Covered.
Thank you so much. I think let's step out of this point. Honorable members, we've exhausted the report. Honorable members have made their points. The only point that is left is the one that we said we will go back to. That was not complete, and Honorable Nchabeling said he will. We said we are giving him few minutes to redraft it. Can you come back, Honorable Nchabeling, before we ask a question about adoption?
Chair, thank you so much. That part, let me give you the wording.
Proceed.
The way you say is that, yeah, we need the finalization of the regulatory framework for shale gas drilling, right? And then if you go deeper into it, is the department has to develop a comprehensive environmental management and legislative regulatory framework that will guide the shale gas drilling process.
Can you go back? The department needs to
develop a comprehensive environmental management framework, all right, that has to look at the element of the regulatory requirement for shale gas drilling so that it actually fulfills the requirement from the court action.
Okay. Ms. Mashudu and Maboda, you will polish the sentence?
Yeah. But
All
it
right.
says the finalization of the regulatory framework for shale gas drilling. That's the most important part.
Yeah.
The department knows what to do. They've been instructed.
Yeah.
They must just do the finalization of the regulatory framework.
Yeah, I think we get the gist. They will polish it, and then we will have the sentence. Honorable Slepe, your hand was up, and you are the last person on this report before we move.
Sorry, Chair. Sorry, Honorable Slepe.
Yeah.
Can I come in, Chair, before Honorable Slepe?
Chair. Okay.
Maboda?
Yes, I wanted to advise I wanted to check if Honorable Chabeleng would be fine if that is a standalone recommendation as recommendation number 2. Because it's referring to, we're recommending now to the DFF, not to the other minister, not the Minister of Mineral Resources. Thanks.
Yes, I'll be fine. If it says DFFE, it's fine.
Okay.
The finalization of it. Yeah.
All right, sure.
Okay, that's fine.
But it must contain the shale gas wording because it's clear.
It has, Honorable Chabeling, it has.
Okay, Chair, on the report input as well, I wanted to make another recommendation, but
we can't go endlessly, Honorable
no, we're
Member.
not doing endlessly. There's the
We still
wording
have
which
another report.
okay, there's a wording which we wanted to debate, but anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about.
Honorable Slepe?
My apologies, Chair. Man, just the quick one. Chair, I'm just checking. Yeah, I didn't see exact slot whereby we're gonna put the thing of the Operation Valum. But if we can remember, their contract it ended on the May 31st, and then I don't know what's an update there because there's no any mechanism of monitoring system. If we that Operation Valum Code is coming to an end, then what is going to be in place? Because everything that has happened is going to go back to the same situation. Then I don't know what can we put as a recommendation to the minister with regard to the Operation Valum Code project. Thank you, Chair. Just wanted to highlight it.
Okay. I'm just not sure about putting a recommendation when we are not sure about whether it ends or not. Maybe that update, the one that the minister to provide an update on Operation Valamgod and leave it there so that we get to be told whether it's coming to an end or not. Appreciating that the operations are conducted by the police, let me say the JCPS, not necessarily our department. So would we be correct if we say minister to provide an update on Operation Valamgod? Maboda?
Greetings, Chair. Like you said, the recommendation is to also to the other minister, not our minister.
Yes.
And I'd suggest, because there will be minutes of this meeting, so I would suggest that this becomes a resolution of the meeting minutes. We take it into the minutes that the committee resolved that it needs an update. Then we will then schedule that in the program of the committee when there is time for the relevant minister to come and brief the committee on the Operation Valamgodi. Thanks, Chair.
Okay. Honorable Slepe, are we okay? Honorable
Yes,
Slepe.
I'm okay, Chair. I'm okay, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, with that exercise being completed, I will now ask a question. Do we adopt the report with the Honorable Hassan?
I'm preempting you, Chair. Sorry.
No, it disturbs my thinking pattern. You can wait for me. I am asking a question. The report having been amended and deliberated upon, I'm asking for the adoption of the report. Any one to adopt the report? Honorable Hassan?
Thank you very much, Chair. Apologies for preempting. I'm happy to move for the adoption of the report as per the amendments of today. Thank you.
There's a mover for the adoption of the report. Any seconder? Honorable members? Honorable members, are you still in a meeting? We need to adopt the report. Honorable Sene?
Thank you, Chair. I want to move, Chair, for the adoption of this report. It's a true reflection of what happened. Thanks.
Having had a seconder, the report is adopted. Any objection on the report? Honorable Ntangwini?
Thank you, Chair. I'm not going to wait for the House Chair. My position is clear. We object the report. Thank you.
Honorable Ntangwini, having highlighted the objection, I will now ask the Honorable Mr. Maboda. Is it noting the objection, or we ask the question into dividing the House? I need direction there.
No, Chair, this will go into the minutes of the meeting. So Honorable Hassan moved for the adoption with amendments. Report was seconded by Honorable Sine, and there was an objection from EFF. And then that
I wanted to check that because in the House, I sometimes chair in the House, and here is different. Honorable Silepe?
Chairperson, can you note the reservation for MKP? Thank you.
Having noted the reservation of MK, any other objection or reservation or abstaining or what? Okay, honorable members, having noted those one objection and reservation, the report is duly adopted. Can we move to the next report, consideration and adoption of oversight report to Alexkor? Mr. Maboda?
All right, we're busy loading it, Chair. I'm going to take you through. All right, through you, Chair, I'll do the same with this report. Go straight to the observations and recommendations. As what is contained in the body of the report is the analysis of what transpired during the visit. So in terms of observations, this section provides a synopsis of the key issues observed by the committee, particularly emanating from the presentations, discussions, and the site visits. The committee is seriously concerned by the dysfunction of the board of pooling and sharing joint venture between Alexkor and the Richards Fontaine Mining Company. The committee has learned that often the PSGV board differs when Alexkor representative in the board push for compliance with Public Finance Management Act, amongst other things. Alexkor is a Schedule 2 state-owned entity company in terms of the PMFA, and RMC is a subsidiary of Richards Fontaine Investment, which is privately owned by the Richards Fontaine community. PSJV is responsible for running the mining operations on behalf of Alexkor and RMC, and this is done through independent contractors appointed by the board. Without a proper functioning board, it will be extremely difficult exercise to turn the company around. So it's just an explanation of the point about the board that is dysfunctional and the challenges around that as a result of what has just been summarized below that. The committee is also concerned that key executive positions at Alexkor are vacant, such as the Chief Financial Officer, Chief Executive Officer, and the General Mine Manager. The committee expressed dissatisfaction with the absence of the PSJV board at the meeting, noting that no apology was provided. This was reported at the first meeting where the committee had. that the other board members didn't come and didn't tender an apology. The state of Alexkor facilities and the deteriorating community infrastructure in Alexander Bay necessitates substantial enhancement. So this speaks to what members saw when on the walkabouts. The committee expressed concern with the safety measures used by Alexkor for the security of the diamonds, the issues around security there. The committee also notes the lack of automation and the heavy reliance on manual labor at the Alexkor mine, specifically for the security sorting of diamonds. The Richards Fontaine local municipality is overly dependent. The Richards Fontaine local
Honorable Slepe, can you mute?
The Richards Fontaine local municipality is overly dependent on Alexkor for essential services, particularly water and infrastructure. While this reliance stems from the deeds of settlement court order, it is not a sustainable solution given Alexkor's current financial difficulties. It is unlikely that Alexkor will fulfill the terms of the deeds of settlement, especially regarding the transfer of Alexander Bay Township in the near to medium term. National government intervention is necessary for Alexkor to address service delivery challenges and concentrate on diamond mining and execution of social and labor plans. The committee recognizes the positive relationship between the Richards Fontaine local municipality and Alexkor. However, it expresses concern over the strained relationship between Alexkor and the Richards Fontaine, the Richards Felt community, as well as with marine small miners. The committee discovered that the disclaimer audit outcomes of Alexkor have not been investigated, and addressing these disclaimers could reveal the underlying issues at Alexkor. The committee appreciates the small-scale miners' proposals to showcase technological advancement in marine mining, including geopolitical marine issues impacting Namibia and South Africa. The poor relationship between the CPA and marine contractors, as well as with the broader Richards Fontaine community, is alarming, as the association should advocate for the community interests. This came out from the committee meetings that we held, including the meeting with these marine small miners. The committee is concerned about the alleged undermining and exclusion of organized labor by Alexkor, emphasizing the critical role of labor in such arrangements. As members would recall, labor said the conflict between the two boards could be resolved because the other board belongs to the community, and they would be able to negotiate with them, but they are excluded in Alexkor affairs. Therefore, they cannot intervene. They are not able to intervene effectively in what Alexkor is going through now in terms of the boards. The committee acknowledged the oversight of not providing an interpreter for the committee meetings. The committee will ensure that an interpreter for the predominant language of the specific province or area is present during every oversight visit. This speaks to the committee meetings that were held where speakers were speaking mostly in Afrikaans, and some of us were not able to understand fully. So that's about that. Then the last one, the committee will update the National Assembly Speaker on the actions taken in processing the petition referred to it. Before I move to recommendation, I must talk about the petition. So this oversight report was this oversight visit was twofold. It was urgent because we have a petition. The committee has a petition before it in relation to Alexkor. So the reason to go there was to do fact finding before the committee respond to the National Assembly in terms of to the Speaker in terms of the way forward from the committee after having listened to the petitioner. So the next step now would be for the committee to compile a report just for the petition, responding to the Speaker. Speaker, we did A, B, and C. This is where we arrived at. This is the way forward. So there's going to be a different report that relates to the petition. This report is the oversight report generally, which also assists in informing in enhancing the petition report, the report on the petition that the committee will send to the speaker by next week. Let's move to the recommendations. So having conducted the oversight visit, the Portfolio Committee on Mineral and Petroleum Resources, we forgot resources, having conducted the oversight visit, the Portfolio Committee on Mineral and Petroleum Resources recommends that the House request the Minister of Mineral and Petroleum Resources to resolve the tensions between the two boards urgently and provide a progress report to the committee by the fourth quarter of the 2025-26 financial year. Members would agree that without the conflict or the differences not being resolved between the two boards, Alexkor will never function properly. There will always be issues. So the first step, I think even the chairperson of the board emphasize in that order that we must resolve governance, and then from there we'll be able to resolve other things. And then the point two also speaks to governance, which says ensure that the key executive positions are filled, including the chief executive officer, chief financial officer, and the general mine manager without delay, and submit a report to the committee by the fourth quarter of the current financial year. When we were there, the chairperson did say that they were busy with appointments. I would say by force, because there was no agreement between two boards in terms of those recruitment processes. So one can foresee a challenge at the end there. So that's why an update on that is important. Number three, facilitate a meeting between Alexkor and the aggrieved mining contractors to find a resolution for the ongoing disputes with a report back to the committee by 31 March 2026. Collaborate with the relevant ministers, including those from cooperative governance and international affairs, finance, water, and sanitation, to discuss how Alexkor can be supported in the handover of the township to the Richards Fontaine local municipality. Ensure that the breakdown in the relationship between organized labor and Alexkor is addressed. Ensure that Alexkor cooperates fully during a parliamentary inquiry into its affairs. This point speaks to the issue of the petitioner. The petitioner was requesting that Parliament must do an inquiry into Alexkor. So this recommendation is put here broadly, so that when the committee deals with the petitioner's report and the recommendation on that, they decide what form the inquiry would take if they decide to go the inquiry route. So it's open-ended deliberately. Number seven, ensure that Alexkor present its turnaround strategy to the committee by the first quarter of the next financial year. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Maboda. Honorable members, that is the report. I will note hands, but before I note hands, Honorable Mr. Maboda, let's go to the body. There's just some mistakes that may look small, but they are big. The very beginning. I see Honorable Zondi. So we did not start the oversight on the 8th to the 10th. If I'm not mistaken, it's 6th to the 8th. If you go to the calendar, it was let me just go to the calendar. we arrived on Thursday and started doing work on a Friday, which was the 6th. We worked the 7th and we worked the 8th, which was Sunday. The 10th was a Tuesday, which is not correct. So I'm raising that, Mr. Maboda, because the pattern goes with the body, and it needs to be corrected. And it may say, you will see somewhere, it will say, we met with the community on this date, and it's not the date we actually met. We met with the marine miners on this date, and it's correct, it's incorrect, and it will say we met with the union, and yeah, on Friday, June 8th, is not correct. So it goes like that. So without wasting time, I think we must make those corrections to say on a Friday, which was the 6th, we met with Alexkor and the unions, as well as visiting the site. On Saturday, we met the municipality. And then we met, yeah, those dates. That is my short submission. Honorable Zondi, Honorable Hassan, any other person? Okay, for now, let's take the two. Honorable Zondi.
Thank you, Chairperson. Mine is very short. It's just to add, as part of the recommendations, that ensure that Alexkor does a full security review in terms of their security measurements.
Is that you want the sentence to read like that? Ensure Alexkor does a full security review in terms of their security measurements. Is that how you want it to read?
That is correct, Chairperson.
Honorable members, is there a view on this matter? Are we in agreement?
Chair,
Yes,
I'm in
Honorable.
agreement through you. I'm in agreement. I want to perhaps add on, because that was actually one of the points I wanted to raise. May I bring mine up now as well, because it's related to security
Yes.
measures?
Yes.
All right. On the observations, I was going to include, I'm fine with what we've got here, but I was going to say for the security of diamond production throughout the value chain. And the reason being for that is I think we already acknowledged that there's potential gaps, not only at the processing plant, but even before that. So what I can
Okay,
do, Chair,
Honorable Hassan, my apologies. Let's allow Honorable Zondi to finish his points, and then when you come, you make a submission, because I'm trying to look at whether they should be separate or we should just add. So at the point you come, we would have determined whether it should be incorporated or separate. Honorable Zondi?
Thank you, Chair. I think my point is captured. With that, I would support the report.
Okay, so that's the only point, and you pledge your support to the report. Okay. Honorable Hassan, sorry about that. Can you proceed?
No problem, Chair. I'm just going to then build on what Honorable Zondi said, but of course, again, we'll be guided by you. So what I effectively had initially written, or what I was going to submit, I'm just going to post it on the chat group. But effectively, I was saying that we need to look at measures. I've just posted it here, that we've expressed concern. In fact, it's under observations. Let me assist you. So I'm systematic. Page 12. Middle of that page, where you talk about those observations. There we go. That's exactly it. So what I was suggesting, we say is the committee expressed concern regarding the safety measures utilized by Alexkor for the security of diamond production throughout the value chain. I've just posted it in the chat group for ease of use for Sibu. So that was what I wanted to add in. And as I just motivated, I wanted to include the words value chain specifically because we have identified those gaps throughout the process. And I think it's important that from the moment in which divers go down to the processing plant, receiving, etc., there needs to be, or we've expressed concern about that whole process. And then echoing on that, now under recommendations, I wanted to include the following recommendation related to security. And here, I'll just type again in the chat box. So what I've put forward is the committee recommends a thorough investigation into the gaps in the security measures, including lifestyle audits for those involved in securing the diamond process value chain to prevent further loss in production of diamonds. I posted it on the chat to help you, Sivu and Mashudu. I don't know, Chair, if I must wait for my next point.
Yeah, it appears it must be a separate point from what Honorable Zondi is proposing. Before you continue, honorable members, do we agree with the addition of the recommendation number 9, as well as the addition in the sentence on the observations? Is there any objection? None. Silence means consent. Can you move to the next point?
Thanks, Chair. I don't know if grammatically I maybe added too many diamonds in that last sentence, but we'll just look at that later. On a substantive note, I'm looking at recommendation 6, which is appearing on the screen already, related to fully cooperating during parliamentary inquiry. What I wanted to add into that is right at the end, should the committee determine the need for an inquiry? And I'll tell you why. There have been a number of interventions taking place at Alexkor. The first is the Zondo Commission into State Capture, which revealed a multitude of things that we are waiting for the NPA, the Hawks, the SIU, which they've already started to process. Okay, so we don't want to duplicate measures. But furthermore, Chair, we need to be advised by the parliamentary legal team. So we're going to submit this report. We'll give back the feedback to the Speaker. And then I know that the parliamentary legal team will look at our interventions to say whether this is possible, this is not possible. So I just wanted to add that in so that we have room to work. And the reason fundamentally is we may determine that in the turnaround strategy, we'll be able to solve the problems. Or, and I know that we are yet to conduct oversight in the Northern Cape, we could also find a way to do it there. But if you box yourself in, you're going to have a challenge later to bring about an actual implementation. And the reason why it's particularly important on this report is that there is a petitioner and that they will, of course, be looking at it. So it's important that it's mentioned, but we also have like comma, should the committee determine the need for it. I'll submit it that if there's need for more justification, I'll do so. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Hassan. Is there a view on this issue? Honorable Mani?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Firstly, on point 8, I think it's just a typo. I think you wanted to say security measures, not measurements, at the end. And then on point 9, I don't know if you want to restrict it to the people that you've defined there, if you can't make that universe a bit broader for those lifestyle audits. And what should be the formulation just to increase the universe? Because to restrict it to the supply chain people, I don't think it's enough, Chairperson. I think we need to find a formulation there that can just broaden the universe. Thank you.
Okay, so Honorable Mani, just to give a background, I'm not disagreeing with you. I just want you to, when we deal with this issue, you are of the same understanding as. So we went to the mine at the ocean. You have people who dive for hours and hours. They go inside. When they come back, there's no sense of screening of, say, Honorable Mani decides to swallow the diamond, because when he comes with his bag of sand and sandstones, he just puts it there, and then there was no demonstration satisfactorily of how they search or how you pass security without having taken anything. And then you go to the processing plant. It's a bit stricter, but use very old technology. You rely on some cameras and a person to look whether you have a diamond or not. Again, if you swallow it, that person may not capture that. The level of security, you find 1 or 2 security guards at the gate. The gate itself, if it closes in a very, it's dilapidated. There are no measures there. The reason why you would want supply chain to be involved is because the difficulties of selling a diamond also includes those people. That's why it's not a fully blown lifestyle audit, and I'm not opposed to a fully blown lifestyle audit, but I just wanted to give you a background of why the specification around security and the people who are in the value chain of production. Honorable Mani?
I hear you, Chair. Can I just, okay, I hear you, Chair, so I'm covered. Can I just check, perhaps, then going back to those measurements, those measures? Way back in 2007, 2008, around that era, there was a recommendation made, Chairperson, around the Alexkor, for Alexkor to have these machines that would detect diamonds if you done the things that you're talking about, like swallowing them and what have you. I'm actually worried now, Chair, that are you almost like saying that that kind of a measure is not there, that would depend on some security guy. You can't.
Yes, that's exactly what we are saying. That's why the 0.8 is
those
mentioned.
machines are not there. Is that what you're saying? There's no machine.
Yes.
You don't like when there's a president coming. I don't know what to call those, the security metal detectors.
No,
you don't have polished diamond detectors. We don't have that.
We don't.
I think then let's be very specific, Chair. That's what we need there. That's what was needed way back in 2007, 2008. And I'm surprised that so many years later that is still not in place. Nothing else will beat that, Chairperson. We really need that. If that is not there, that's what is, so that we don't become too general about this thing. That's the machine that you need to detect people that have swallowed And those people don't have to be in supply chain. They can be in other lines and in all kinds of other professions. This is why I was talking about broadening the universe, because I know that it's not people that you would ordinarily suspect to be in that value chain. It could be other people as well. Bambala kind of situation in Chairperson. That's why I talk about broadening the universe. But will be guided by you. Thank you.
So let me persuade you on point 8 and 9 by Honorable Hassan and Honorable Zondi that the framing of ensure Alexkor does a full security review in terms of their security measures means all of the security gaps that we have seen, because the machine is one, but only one amongst other measures we want them to review. So I think when we say full security review of their security measures, the machines and recent technology is part of that, instead of saying the security machines, because there we have seen security gaps that go beyond a security machine and all of it's just a free for all, if I may put it that in that way. So I would be persuaded that when we say ensure Alexkor does a full security review in terms of their security measures, we mean exactly that those measures must encompass Alexkor's full security measures to be a world-class diamond mine that is protected. And it's linked to that point Honorable Hassan is making, that, okay, let me put it this way. There were people who were defensive about security issues. When you ask a question, what if a person swallows the diamond, what do you do? The answer would be, no, it will never happen. And we say, no, we're saying in a case it happens. They will say, no, it has never happened. It will never happen. So that's why we're saying that defensive mode they were in made us to realize that maybe we need to include the lifestyle audit so that we get to understand why the defensive mode every time we speak about security measures. Can I please persuade you to align in those two views, Honorable Mani?
Yeah, can I just propose a compromise position, Chair? That
Yes.
we keep sentence 8 like that, and perhaps just to make, because the point is that this machine story was mentioned specifically in 2007, 2008, as I'm saying, but you've been there recently, you say it's not there. So I don't take comfort in that when you say security measures, that it will be there this time. So perhaps we could then just say including, just maybe in this one or two things and all of that. Then I think then that would be covered, then Chair. Then at least we know that specifically we've mentioned this thing. Security measures including which does not exclude anything else. Chairperson, I think then that would cover the point. Thank you.
So you would want it to be including security machines or what?
Yeah,
Okay.
including diamond detecting what?
Scanners.
I don't know what's a
Diamond
technical term.
detecting scanners.
Yeah.
Diamond detecting scanners.
Could I
That's right.
assist? Yeah.
Honorable Hassan?
Chair, I wanted to perhaps assist the process. I didn't think we should be too specific only on the diamond detecting scanners. One of the things we all noted, and you mentioned it, was sort of an archaic use of security measures. So I would just say the use of modern and digital, machinery or technology to ensure, or to enhance security measures. I don't know if that's...
It's exactly what I was proposing, but I'm a consensus person because I take I take it that because Honorable Manu was not there and he has been there in the past 7 years ago, he wants to insist on the detecting scanners. But if we were to say modern technology, and it would really mean those issues are covered. But I don't want us to. That's why we are looking for a convergence in this regard, and hoping that it doesn't take away Honorable Zondi's point, because if we dilute his point, we may end up meaning something that he did not intend to submit. So let's just make this point, and then we'll hear from Honorable Zondi and Honorable Mani and yourself and other honorable members whether we can live with this sentence. So it reads now, ensure Alexkor does a full security review in terms of their security measures, including the diamond detecting scanners and modern security technology. Are we fine with that?
Covered, Chair.
Okay. Thank you very much, honorable members. You are assisting a consensus chairperson to reach consensus quickly. Honorable members, having heard this report as amended, Honorable Zondi has pledged a support to the report on his submission. Any seconder for the support for adoption? Honorable Hassan?
Thank you, Chair. I'm happy to move for the seconding of the report as a true reflection of the oversight visit.
Any objection?
Just for record's sake, Chair, I think from the MK party, we'll reserve our position on the matter.
With all due respect, it can come from you. Can anyone who was there from MK party say something, concur with Honorable Mani? It's like minutes, Honorable Mani. You can't reject the minutes. You were not part of that meeting. Any objection? Going once, twice, we are gone. The report is duly adopted. Honorable members, I will just go to the last item, which is not there, which is announcements. Mr. Maboda, are you able to highlight that to flag the program, specifically the points I want to make to speak to? Are you in a position?
No, Chair.
Okay, honorable members, you will bear with me. There are some amendments we are proposing on the report. And in the absence of the capacity to flag it, let me use my phone. So, honorable members, there is a petition to secure and rehabilitate a dam quarry in Heidedal in Bloemfontein, referred to us on the 21st of May. We were scheduled to deal with it on the 2nd of July. But in our small investigation or trying to understand how to go about it, I'm sure Honorable Lorima and if Zungula was here would, yeah, that's the report, would remember that we went to Jagersfontein where there was a burst of a dam, which was a mine dam. And legally, we discovered later that such dams belong to water affairs and not necessarily the minerals, and therefore we could not, by law, do anything. We have written back to the speaker to give us direction on whether this matter belongs to us and or the police and or the water affairs, or it doesn't put us at all in this regard. So we thought that let's not call Mr. Werner on the 8th, I mean, before we get the response, because we are also going to look for a legal opinion on this issue, and then swap the 8th and the 22nd of July to have Liparo briefing us on the incubation program, and we consider outstanding minutes, and then take the 8th to the 22nd, hoping that we will be ready there with the process. The second issue around that is that 2 staff members will be away on study leave, and this kind of referrals, you don't start it with certain people and then they leave, you get other people. It will disturb the pattern of report and investigations as we move forward. If the committee agrees with me to swap the 2, it will make more work for the committee easier. That's what I wanted to canvass, honorable members. Any take on the proposal I'm making? Honorable members? Honorable Senator?
Thank you, Chairperson. I don't see any problem in terms of swapping the dates and those meetings. So I support your proposal, Chair. Thanks.
Honorable Hassan?
Seconded.
Any objections? None. We agree, honorable members. That takes us to the end of the meeting, and honorable members will be debating this report, the first report. Is it on the 2nd? Yes. As it reflects there in M46, from 4:30 to 6:15. We will see each other there, and best of luck. Can I adjourn the meeting if there is no other issue, honorable members?
Thank you, Chair.
The meeting stands adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair.
Long live the chair.
Aki Chair, Slalo.